Hello everybody, and welcome back to the MiNameIsJake channel. Today, we're doing an end-of-year sort of overview-y type thing. Since the last set of videos I recorded, I now actually have my microphone mounted on an arm, so it's closer to me. I've played with the volume settings a little bit. I'm at 75% now, which is roughly where I was, but I'm also trying to move the microphone while still quite high up, so it's like, the microphone's more or less in line with my chin. I've moved it away a little bit so they don't get quite as much a lot of nose blowing down the thing. Also don't want as much background noise because, like, PlayStation for Wheelman and things like that, the old dear can get a little bit loud. So just to sort of talk about this year, it's not good, in all honesty. But now, compared to previous years, I now have an 4G EE router, home router, so that's 100 gigs of data I've got on there at the moment, bought in Black Friday sales, plus when I eventually get around to switching it over, 60 gigs on my proper phone now instead of 30, and for now I'm also going to keep it around my other phone, which has 20 gigs on it as well, so I've got 180 gigs to go at. So we'll see how we get on. What I will probably want to do at some point is, I don't know where that thought was going. Let's start again. Basically, I'm going to start streaming. The thing is, I don't really know what to do with streaming. My idea, and I've said this for the longest time, is when I get the ability to stream, what I would do is I would just stream my normal recording. And, the recording gets split up and uploaded as per normal. Could even do that as part of the stream, some sort of nice chatting at the end if there's people in chat. As well as, I'm tired. I'm recording this at 7:43, New Year's Eve. My day off today. Back for another 4 days. It's my weekend off, which is nice. But yes, I've got that. I'm probably going to start streaming soon. The problem that I've got, this is what I was trying to get to, is that 720p 60 is probably what I want to stream at, whereas this is in 1080p 30. Which I don't really like. If anything, I want to go up to 1080 60. Maybe I could do it on the stream. The main reason why is because it's 4G. It's not as solid of a connection as like fiber. Like at the minute, even my home internet is getting battered by the fact that I presume there's quite a few people streaming and stuff in the house that are not going out to party because it's New Year. You've also got, like, sometimes it'll just randomly drop down to like 30, which is still good. But for example, the first time I plugged it in, I got over 100. So it's not like I'm going to be able to stream at like 4K 60 because I just don't have the bandwidth all the time to do that. I need it to be like below the bottom it usually goes to, so that we don't get stutters. Another thing, of course, I've only got 100 gigs, so I don't want to go mental with bitrate. So, for example, you could do 720/30, which is what I was going to start at while I just get used to things, for like 2,500 megabits a second, especially if it's something a bit less demanding, like Factorio, for example, which is just a great thing to stream and what I would prefer to do, in all honesty. But yeah, that's what we're going to start with. Probably 720p 30 at 2.5, and then we can go up from there where it wants to be resolution. Because another thing that you've got a problem with is the fact that, for example, on my internet connection, my regular internet connection, I can't watch 1080p 60. So the problem with that is the fact that, for example, Babs, Unruly Babs, girlfriend of HD Justin, whenever she tries and plays games, because she's not partnered yet, all you can get is Source. And I can't watch it. I can watch Source, or if I actually lock my phone, it's just audio. I can listen to audio. So that's the problem. That's why I'd probably go for 720p 60, because I can manage that, or 720p 30, because then more people can actually watch you than others can. Just bear with me a second. Yeah. So yeah, another problem as well, of course, is because I'm using 4G I can't play online games through it because of the lag. So for now, with one computer, it's locked to like single player games that I could stream. Sorry, I'm not very with it. I am quite tired. And there's someone texting me as well, to be perfectly honest. I mean, like, the trouble is this channel, like, towards the end has become so low-grade effort that I'm legitimately watching Netflix while recording the video. I think if I was Twitch streaming, there would be no webcam, at least for now. But at least, like, the chat would give me something to do. Because otherwise I just sat there playing Factorio for 2.5 hours to get 10 days worth of content. You know, it's a problem. I recently built a computer for my dad. Bit of a tangent, but you'll see what I'm saying. So it was a Ryzen 3 2200G processor, an ASRock motherboard, 8 gigs of RAM, a dual kit of 2 4-gig sticks, Corsair, power supply. I used the standard AMD Ryzen cooler. Also, a Bitphoenix Neos red and black case, and a Samsung 970GB PCIe drive, which is blisteringly fast. Like, there's SSDs and then there's PCIe SSDs. It really is that much of a difference. From someone who's got SSDs in this computer, it boots to Windows in less than 20 seconds, and that's with it. It was like farting about trying to do something. To be honest, if I stripped out some of the guff that I put on there that it doesn't technically need, it'd be like 15. I'll have possibly a little play with it, but he mainly uses it for his CNC machine and his vinyl cutter. That's what it was bought for. Funny enough, he'll be sat there cutting stuff at 0% CPU. So he was using a computer from 2003, bought in Aldi. Yeah, £750 bought in Aldi. It's Pentium 4, the 3.4, or 4.3, like the top Pentium 4 that was out at the time, multi-threaded, but still single core. And he's now got to a 4 threads, because the 2200G doesn't have simultaneous multi-threading, because hyper-threading is an Intel thing. But it's a great computer, in all honesty. And it cost about 380 quid to put together. So like not breaking the bank at all. And my idea is, because of how good the quality is when I record console games, I could put my HD60 Pro, which is an inbuilt capture card, into one of those PCs. Not that PC. I'd build another one for me, possibly upgrade to 2400. And record from that. Now, if you go onto Elgato's site, it says you need a 4 series Intel CPU or more. I have a 4790K, so it matches that, and it needs to be Windows 10. That was the point when I got that. Excuse me, that I upgraded from Windows 8.1 to Windows 10. So I could get that because the 2200G is like a 3.7 up to a 4, I think, or something around that, or 3.4 up to 3.7. And I'm sure you could do a little bit of overclocking to get it to about 4. And this does 4 with a 4.3 boost. So it's very close. And for 80 quid, 90 quid, it is at the moment. Whether prices go up slightly after Christmas, I don't know. But, it's 90 quid. Let's say it's about 380 to put the whole thing together. And I've already got the card. I do have a iMac, which I used to record videos on. And then even when I got a gaming PC, I used to do the editing on, which really isn't used for much anymore. If I had a HD60 regular or a HD60S, I would probably try it on there and record this computer through that, and then just transfer it back to this to do the editing. But to be honest, it's getting a bit long in the tooth. It's a 2600 processor in that. I know that because of Minecraft's F3 menu. And it's got 2 gigs of VRAM. I upgraded the RAM and the video card and the processor, and then upgraded the RAM myself from 4 to 16. When I got that computer, I generally thought that it was broken because it would go over 4 gigs like that on Google Chrome. So yeah, that 16 gig kit, which 16 gigs was £80 back then. I fairly recently paid around 100 for DDR3, to upgrade this computer to 32. My dad's kit of 8 was 54 quid. Pounds for those uninitiated, and that's DDR4, and it's not a premium RAM by any means. It was, I set myself a hard cap of 400, and to be fair, it was more like 360 ish. It was 350 if I was going to use the power supply, which is fairly new. I have his old computer in this, but I wanted to have them both running at the same time for the swap over process. And because he's not using any hard drives or any graphics cards, because it's just going to use the Vega graphics, I got a module power supply, which is like an extra £10, just so he didn't have quite as many cables littering around the bottom of the case. It's got no Windows on this case, so it really doesn't matter. But it's strange, I've always said that I don't do neatness with my RC planes, but computers apparently I do. So, the problem is I have actually invested a fair amount of money, like, in this YouTube channel this year. I can't remember if it's this year or not, but I had, of course, a Stream Deck and which I don't technically need, I suppose. It's going to get used a lot more for streaming. But you've got the HD60 Pro, which is brilliant. You've got that. You've also got, so I did get them on a staff discount from where I work. Quite a considerable staff discount. But if you're going to buy them on your own, you're probably looking around £300 mark, I think. I think they're both about £150. I got them at a considerable discount, so they were fairly much buy one get one free. I'm not sure I'm technically allowed to say that or not, but there you are. But yeah, it was a fantastic staff discount because we were launching gaming stuff or something like that. But anyway, so we got that, or I got that. Got the microphone we're speaking to now. That was £80 or £90. How much was that, Amazon? I've got something in my basket. What have I not ordered by accident? A pop shield. Yeah, we'll get that ordered. Fully enough, very rarely it's not an add-on item, because they've just been plaguing me recently. Like, I want to buy something, but I can't because it's a free add-on item. Another thing, something I did this year, which I'm very proud of, like in December as well, is I bought loads of presents for people and paid off my credit card. Because my mum's main present, which was a Nokia 7.1 mobile phone, or cell phone, that was 50-50 with my dad, and dad's computer, which I've already mentioned was around for almost £400, was 50% with my mum as well. So, to be fair, it wasn't like I was spending £700, it would have been, Jesus. Oh shit, I need to send this back. Amazon have just reminded me. So when I bought this NVMe, I've had issues with NVMe drives before, so I actually bought, just in case so I can get it built, a Western Digital Blue 240GB SSD, which I need to send back. So I need to, it's brand new, I'll print off the returns label and get that sent off with Mother, hopefully. Where was it? Also, I splashed out as a Christmas present to myself on 2 Echo Pluses and an Echo Sub. For like, it's not working exactly how I wanted to. I wanted it to replace my current speakers, but it's not going to work as I wanted to, so it's now just for music. It's one of those things where I like, if I had my own house, it would be brilliant. It would be my, like, music system. Battlefield 5. I need to play that. What annoyed me about Battlefield 5 was I used a load of my 100 gigs of thingamabob to download that. And then, like, a day later, it decided that it was going to have another 40 gig update. Yeah, Switch. That little tiny weenie PC that I now upload stuff on, and that's about it. For 130 quid. You know, if I could return that and get that 130 quid back, I would definitely. I'd probably get this more or less the same computer as my dad, but possibly upgrade to a 2400G. And also I'd get a smaller case and a M80X motherboard. Not a big case and a regular motherboard. Oh, come on, where is it? That's a fan. Have I missed it? I'll tell you what, if it's not on this next page, I'm going to search orders. Yeti. Wow, really annoying. It doesn't actually say how much it was. They're currently 80 quid, and I think that's roughly what I spent, 80 or £89, something like that. Now, So basically, I was trying to say that is I've spent almost £400 this year. Now, if I was going to do a dual computer setup, I'd consider getting like a Corsair Obsidian 1000D. If you've not seen that, it's a case big enough to build 2 computers in, essentially. And the idea is I'd have one which is just AMD, which would essentially be some sort of Ryzen processor, whether it be slightly more than a 2200 or 2400G, I'm not sure, and a depending on what it was, it would either just be the 2200G or whatever, or it would have an AMD graphics card in it if it was a higher processor. And on the other side, have an Intel and Nvidia thing, which would be the gaming machine and general use computer. But have you heard about these AMD rumours? So supposedly in January, which we're a few hours away from, at CES, they're going to release or announce some AMD 3000 series processors, which are going to be blistering for £100 less than what the 9900K is at the minute. You can get, I think it's 12 threads compared to 8, 12 cores for 24 threads at 5.1 gigahertz. Well, some people say they'll leave that till May. Some people say they won't. It's not happening at all. Some people say they're going to announce like the killer blow at once, or at least just tease it. But like it might be a good. The thing is other than RAM or VRAM, my 970 is still good. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM, of VRAM, which is its most limiting thing. Like, do they do a 1070 with more RAM than more than 4 gigs? 1070, not a 1070. What's the RX 2070 like on the old RAM front? Because they're so expensive and they don't need to be. RX 2070, that is a thing. RTX, that's what it is. I can't remember the freaking branding. It's that bad. Nvidia, come on. My internet's been horrendous tonight. Come on. Overclockers, let's have a look. Been to overclockers. This computer I actually went to overclockers and then to CCL computers to buy all the bits for. So yeah, like a 2070. You're looking at about 450 quid. When I bought my 970, I think it was like 280. I think. Order details. £270. Now, to be fair, a more close resemblance would be the RX 2060, but an RTX 2060. But even then, let's have a look at RTX 2060. Yeah. It doesn't exist yet, does it? Fair. So let's go back. So for 2070, which is the equivalent of a 1080, which is the equivalent of a 980 Ti. So technically, a 2050 Ti is the equivalent of a 970 now, which would probably be less. It'd probably be at the 150 mark. Because I know that the 590 from AMD is about 180. And it's about the equivalent of a 970. What I would do, probably, to begin with, is... What annoys me is the fact that because I bought this one computer to do everything, it's a very big case, and it's ridiculously heavy. But the problem is that what I would like to do is get if I could, would be to spend a lot of money on a really fancy computer to do everything on, and then this just be my recording computer. But I don't want it in its full case. It's in a H440 from NZXT, and I wouldn't want two computers that size, because I mean, ideally, what I would have is and I've sort of gone back and forth on this because I don't know exactly what I would do, is have a gaming console PC. So something with, so basically this is a gaming machine. So it would have probably knowing what I know now, I'd probably push for a 1 terabyte SSD on through PCIe, if not 2 terabyte if I could afford it. And then have another hard drive for other games. So the way I thought about this until recently was that I would have a 250 gig SSD for or 120 even could do, for OS and programs, so like the Steam and Origin, things like that. And then have another 1TB or higher SSD, again a regular SSD, for games I play a lot of, and games that need it, so GTA, PUBG, things like that. And then have like a 3TB drive for all the other games. And possibly then a 4TB drive or something like that we would then back stuff up onto. Because if that drive broke and I lost all my games, it would take me so long to re-download them all. It would be ridiculous. I would legitimately see if there's a way of me to export games onto a hard drive from friends and people who have the games to at least try and reduce some of that load. So I'd have a gaming PC. I would then have a general PC that I would record to, again through the capture card, and edit on, and would be my general PC. And I'd also probably use the guts of this PC as like a backup server that everything gets backed up to. If I was in my own house, it would probably be like in the loft or something, or in the attic, depending on where you're from, and just be my backup machine, probably what I do my uploading from. At the moment, I technically have 3 computers. I have a really cheap Dell laptop, just for when I need something that's portable, which has a quad-core Celeron. Oh yeah, it was £270 I think when I bought it, and I put in my free SSD from Amazon that they sent me for no reason, to upgrade it from the 500 gig. It's here right now, actually, randomly on the side. Toshiba, made in the Philippines, 5,400 RPM, 500 gig. See, I put in a 250 gig Samsung SSD, best there was at the time, because I got 2 in the box instead of 1 from Amazon. I also have the mini PC, like on the back, like it's like, I think it's like 5 inches square, real by like an inch thick, basically a nook. And that just has, all that has connected to it is power cable and a 1TB hard drive, portable hard drive, and I remote in through TeamViewer, and that is literally used for uploading stuff. My original idea behind it is to save on power, so my iMac isn't on all the time. So the idea is that would do basically slow internet things, because it would use such a low amount of power. So it would do updating games through Steam, but that doesn't really work very well, like copying the game files between the two, because it'd be a lot quicker for me to, or a lot better, to have this computer off that I'm recording to now, and then just update things to the other drive, or to the other computer, and then just copy the game files across through the network. What a gigabit switch. Transferring stuff is quite quick, because that's how when I've edited a video, then converted it in Handbrake, it gets copied onto that hard drive through the network. So, it's one of these things where I just still need the Dell laptop, and it's nice to have a laptop that isn't expensive, because I keep drooling over Razer laptops. I'm not gonna lie, like not the Pro, not the Stealth, just the regular Razer 15-inch notebook. And again, that would probably be an easier pill to swallow, or what I would more than likely go for, if I didn't have the capture card that's built in. Because I think at the time, the S wasn't out. They had the HD60, which was slightly laggy for on-screen visuals, and then the HD60 Pro, which didn't have any lag. And then later on, they brought out, about 4 or 5 months later, the HD60S. If I had the S that was just a USB plug-in, I would probably buy a Razer laptop. Probably a bit overkill, but it's probably what I would do instead. Because it's a lot of money, £380, if not slightly more, for a machine that's just a recording box. I mean, what I have said is, considering it's so close to the processor that I have in here, I can install Vegas on it and have it as a editing machine, so that it could probably edit a video and record the stream, or record from this computer while I play another game. So I could try and condense time a little bit. This computer currently encodes things when it's 1080p 30 in real time. So if it's a 30-minute video, it takes about 35 minutes maybe to do it in. 30 to 35 minutes to do a 30-minute video. So, for example, say I have to record 10 videos, I could record 5, edit them, leave them batch rendering on the other machine where I record the others. You've got noise to think about and things like that because you don't want a fan going in the background. But to be honest, my dad's, because he's got no hard drives in, and the fan, it's only got 2 fans, one the AMD one and one at the back of the case. It's very quiet. It's dead silent. To be fair, I've never tried playing a game or running Cinebench on it or stuff like that to try and get the fan kicked up, so I can't see how loud it would get. But yeah, it's certainly interesting. So, I mean, considering they have an excess of 1060s, which is essentially a 970. In fact, do they have 1060? I know they have 4 gigs. I know they have 3 gigs in some weird places. But they've also got, like... Yes, they do have slightly... Also, they have 6 and 3 by the looks of it, in terms of gigabytes on 1060s. But I don't really want last-gen stuff. And again... It depends how much I enjoy streaming, in all honesty. If I enjoy streaming, then I'd be more willing, as like a hobby, to put out that £300 to buy it, to purchase a second machine, build it, and use that as a streaming and recording machine. The only thing that concerns me about doing that, and what concerns me about using a second machine at all, is the fact that I really like 144 Hz. And you can technically record 1080p 1440 Hz if you get one of the Elgato 4K capture cards, because instead of doing 4K 60, we do 1080p 144 or 120, one or the other. On Amazon, how much is it? So the other one was like 150, I think. Yeah, the 4K one is £330. So yeah, you don't really like. That would be something like stuff like that would be cool to do. Like if I started getting like decent viewership, to do as a like this month, let's try and raise 330 quid or whatever it is, or as close as we can, and we can buy a 4K 60 Pro. Because that would do everything that I want it to do. Because it's one of these things where I kind of go, well, if you're going to buy a new Elgato card, why don't you buy one that's USB so you could try it with your iMac? If it doesn't work with your iMac, because it's slightly too old, then you could buy either the £340 or it's going to be more like 380, if not slightly over 400, possibly 420 even, machine and plug it into that, or you can get a Razer laptop as well, which would be very nice because I like it a lot. But to be honest with you, before I do any of this, my current monitor, this is basically, this year's been so shit that I very quickly went over it and now got into just chatting about what I'm going to hopefully do next year. Because next year I also want a new car and a new Apple Watch, so it's going to be an expensive year. Because I've seen the new 4s. I wonder if with the Apple Watch 5 they will make it all screen, so there's no black bezel, which is one of the things I was like, I have an original Apple Watch, so it's not even the Series 1, because technically the Series 1 was the second generation of Apple Watch. Because you had the Apple Watch, and then you had the Apple Watch Series 2 and Series 1 released the next year. But the Series 1 was not the original. They upgraded it. So, technically, there's already been 5 different versions of the Apple Watch in terms of just series. So there's 4 series, and they're on Series 4, and then there was the original, which didn't have a series number. But anyway, I have a BenQ monitor, brilliant monitor in all honesty. 24-inch, 1080p, 144 Hz. I bought an LG monitor, or was it even a TV? It was 3D, 27-inch. I ended up returning it because the lag was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And I kind of went overboard and went, I want all the hertz and grey to grey, 1 millisecond. Spent more on that, and it went down to 24 instead of a 27, and bought this. Now, the two problems that I have with this now, because I went from an iMac as a main monitor, so that's 27-inch 1440p. The screen size isn't too bad. I don't particularly mind 24, but 27 would be nice. But what I do miss is the resolution. Because, for example, at the minute, if I do two windows side by side, Amazon works okay. But some other websites, it thinks you're on a tablet, because it's, you know, half of 1080 is 540, so it thinks you're on like a low-grade tablet, and puts you automatically onto the tablet website, which is just arse. And some of the websites just look strange. So, I've been looking into 1440p, 27-inch, 1 millisecond grey to grey, and another thing that I'd probably want is at least a VA panel, if not an IPS, because this monitor is useless for watching stuff in bed, because if it's ever so slightly off, even if you turn the monitor as much as you can towards it, because I'd be laid lower than my desk, it's not great. Like the colours wise, so it'd probably have to be VA. You're good looking around £400. I did see the one from eBuyer, Element Gaming. It's TN still, but they had it on sale. Let me see if it is still on sale. eBuyer Element Gaming monitor. So it's 1440p, 144Hz, 27-inch. It is TN, I believe. It probably says in the specs. Yeah, it seems to have okay reviews if it is a TN panel. And as I say, it has everything that I want on there. The only problem that there is the fact that because it's so cheap, yeah, it's still 230 quid. It's a stands crap. It's universally known as crap. The build quality also isn't brilliant. The joystick on the back to turn it on and off with and do the menus with is awful. The connectors actually come straight out the back. They don't come down like this monitor does and most other sensible monitors do. As you can't tell, I was texting there. Another thing as well is I'm looking at this monitor. It says it has a VESA mount, but everyone else says that it doesn't. But in the pictures, it has a VESA mount, and it says in the description in multiple places, sharp look and VESA mountable. That's what I'm reading directly from the website. So what I always thought is, well, I could get like a cheapo, like 2-monitor mount, or a just a single monitor mount, have them both still separate, and get over that, because it's very low and it's very wobbly. The stand is honestly crap. And for 230 quid, it gets me 2 monitors and it gets me very close to what I want. The only thing that doesn't have is the fact that it's more than likely a TN panel. But if I could afford it, I'd of course get the 4K 144Hz 1 millisecond Predator monitors and things like that, but that's 1700 quid. I can't afford that. So my idea is that this probably wouldn't last as long as this current one, because it would be replaced. Another thing I thought of is get a 4K 27-inch screen, VA, 1 millisecond response time, 60 Hz. That's what you'd be giving up there. Because then you get all the resolution for doing web browsing and things, and you can always run games at 1080p on a 4K monitor. For example, on my 1440p iMac, what I would sometimes do is actually play in windowed mode in 1080p, because then you've got all the area around the edge. I could put my audio controls and things like that. I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably still play it full screen, but just render it in 1080p. I mean, it'd be fun for like a laugh to do for like CS:GO in 4K, because I'm pretty sure my computer could manage that at least 60. Excuse me. So it'd be like a stopgap monitor essentially. Just temporary, because it's half the price of what I would be spending. And And to be fair, once the 4K ones get below £1,000, I would probably buy one. The 4K, because obviously I'm not going to play games in 4K, but what's nice, on the same monitor I can have 4K for websites, which seems really strange, but generally why I want it. You would have 4K for websites, and when you fire up a game, you've got everything else. You can just set it to 1080p or 1440p, whatever you can manage. But again, you've got the problem again of recording, because what's great at the moment is that with the monitor capture that I currently have, I can, like, it manages fine. Like, I record in 1080p 30 FPS. I can be playing a game that's being rendered at 300 frames. You know, if it's CSGO, it's going to be like 250 frames. That's on the screen at 1440 hertz, you know, so 144 frames. And the recording quality is okay. It's still not as nice as going through there. So what I may do is I may do some research into like mirrored monitors. So I'd have a HDMI coming out as a second monitor into the Elgato, and then the other monitor being my 1440p 144 hertz, and see, like, because the game would be at 1080p, so it'd be going to both screens in quotes as 1080p, but one of them would just be 144 hertz, and the other one would be 60. Because it's one of these things where I can always record in 60, but export it as 30. It's always an option. Because to be honest with you, my internet's, depending on the game, my internet's not quick enough for me to do this amount of videos at 1080p 60. Unfortunately, I know I've got this 4G thing, but yeah. So I before I get two computers, I need two monitors, because I have two computers technically now, but one of them is often sort of set up and forget about it for a while, so you can remote in and do it that way. But this monitor thing is the question, because at the moment this works fine. This current system works fine, but if it's being captured through the source cable, will that cause issues? First of all, even if I was using this monitor for gaming, because I mean, ideally, if I wasn't recording and I had space, I'd probably keep this monitor just for games, because you don't want a massive monitor anyway. Then I get a 4K 6027 for just general use, but I want to be sat directly in front of the main monitor that I'm going to be using. And the trouble is if I have one monitor for general and the other one for gaming, I want to be sat in front of both of those. So again, a swivel mount could be an option. Some sort of, moving arm so I can move the screens about. So, be in front of the 27-inch 4K all the time, and then slide out of the way and bring the gaming one back in to play games and things like that. So there's going to be more research. And again, at the moment, it's either a 4K 60, but all the other bells and whistles, 27-inch, or a 27-inch 1440p on all the rest of the bells and whistles. But first of all, I need to see about having different output setters, different resolutions, and different refresh rates. See if it massively affects game performance. Probably will in some, but if in most of them it doesn't. And the other option, just to sort of do some experimenting and things, as well as sort of just general stuff, will be to get this Element one at 230 and take it from there. But yeah, so before I look into more computers, because even if I got a laptop, I'd probably run it in clamshell mode while it's on my desk, so it doesn't take up as much room. That's one of the reasons why when I was choosing my Macs, I got an iMac and a MacBook Air instead of a 17-inch MacBook Pro. And to be fair, I think I've done the right decision, because I don't use the MacBook Air. I don't think the MacBook Pro would have lived much longer than that. useful life. But this iMac it's on at the moment, it's displaying Twitter that I never really go on, don't know why. Yeah. Fun times. But yeah, that went on like a weird rant about, well, not rant, but like dream shopping list type thing. To be honest with you, this computer works fine. It's looking at improving it. And to be, it depends. I'm going to stream on this playing single player. I can use my iMac for like Twitch dashboard, and monitoring chat and things like that. And then if I get on with streaming, then we can look at second monitors. Because to be honest with you, if I'm not going to be using a second computer to record, which would be nice, then I might as well go with a higher end 440Hz screen and just live with it. Again, the main thing I need to do before I do anything else is check to see what it's like. I mean, that could be another good thing about this monitor, because it could always be a TV as well. But people have said that it's not wall mountable. It's like blah, 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 blah. I'm definitely rambling now. This has been going on for 41 minutes. So, I don't know what the hell I'm going to title this video. But if you're still here, say potato. So I know that you're still here. But I'm actually going to now, because I'm going to have to, like it's just like a looping circle. But I know before I get any more computers, I need a monitor, but I need to know what these monitors are going to do. So it's a weird and wonderful situation. But this channel, let's have a look at the YouTube specs. Watch time was 13,500 minutes, down 50% on last year. My top videos for this year apparently was the automation light campaign, fixing the iPod, which it always is, OMFG Burnout Paradise Remastered, which is, it's got to be a highlight of the year, that game. And how to fix Windows Live Messenger, blah 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 blah, and super easy how to make Minecraft views, blah 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 blah. Views, 8.7 thousand views this year, down 43%. Subscribers over the whole year, because some people subscribed and some unsubscribed, we gained three. Minus 85% compared to last year, because last year I gained 20, but to be fair, I was doing those CSGO giveaways last year, so that gained some sort of non-active subscribers. So yeah, latest activity this year, this day we're not bothered about. But yeah, similar to my other RC-related channel, there was a massive spike around March, which is a bit strange. 32.3% of my traffic source came from YouTube search, 3.2% from external places, suggested videos 17.5%, browse features 7.1%, and playlist pages 4.6%. Most of my external traffic came from Google search at 81.1%, Bing at 1.7%, Yahoo, strange people, at 0.8%. And Samsung Internet for Android 0.7%. And finally, Mojang.com at 0.4%, which I suppose I should have be slightly honoured about, but something on Mojang.com is must have my content in at some sort of weird and wonderful way. Traffic sources suggested videos. Burnout Paradise thoughts on the remastered version, that's definitely not one of mine. Truck Toss, weird and wonderful game that seems to get loads of views for some reason. So yeah, none of those videos are actually my own videos, interestingly enough. Playlist, Galacticraft and Friends was the best. Automation Light Campaign, Automation the Car Company Tycoon game, Minecraft 1.9 Achievement Hunter, Factorio Season 2. Factorio, I don't know how long that's going to last, because it is generally never ending, because I don't have an end goal like Galacticraft does, because Galacticraft, to be fair, I need to go to all the planets and then that's done, in all honesty. Because we've got oil for days, so I probably won't do the nuclear stuff. I might just do it just to like cross it off. But I also that could be the end of Minecraft for the channel, in all honesty, because there's not a lot else I'm really interested in. I did think about doing like an advancement hunter type thing again that then just rolls into a general sort of single player. Yeah. Impressions, which is what I've half read out already. So impressions was 74.3 thousand. Impressions for click rate of 4.2%. Views are down, of course. Everything's down. The channel is dying. I mean, it never was really alive, let's be honest. But Burnout Paradise Remastered was my top YouTube search. Next one down was Automation. I will play more Burnout. Two of the most sort of like disappointing games of the year. Red Dead Redemption, because I haven't played it. I like got all up in the hype, bought it. I actually bought it twice. I bought it one on Amazon and decided to cancel it, and got it through Xbox so that I could try and preload it before it came out. Didn't work. And there was like a day one patch which wouldn't have meant I could get through anyway because of my slow internet. I haven't played it because it came out. It was about 3 weeks, and then they released it online. And as I'm about to say this, online left a bad taste in my mouth. I got a hair in my mouth, so definitely a bad taste. From the GTA online, so I'll get around to it at some point. I did think about doing this Christmas special because I know the opening is snowy. Because to be honest with you, I think I watched a video and went nah, and decided this really wasn't for me because I almost didn't pre-order it because I didn't play the other one. Really didn't know if it was for me or not, but anyway. So, interest viewers. Surprised as any, to be honest. Again, average view duration down 15%. Top videos, well, that's all very similar to last time. Build an audience, 96.2% not subscribed, 3.8% subscribed, so better than my other channel, actually. United States 12.9, United Kingdom 1.9, Sweden 0.1. Most of my videos, by a long margin, 99.4 should I say. No subtitles, with 0.6 in English. 100%, so actually worse than last time. Male audience, at least I had like 3.4 female before. 18.8% of my viewers are between 18 to 24. 25 to 34 is 81.2%. This is just all sadness. And earned revenue, I earned $1.58 until, of course, the 24th of March or whatever it is when they killed that. Because I didn't have enough subscribers. 152 cents of that was from ads, and 6 cents of that was from YouTube Premium or Red. Transaction review none. 58.6% of that came from skippable video ads, 15.1 from display ads, bumper ads 13.1, skippable video ads 7, non-skippable ads 4.4. Top earning videos, 86 cents came from the iPod cannot be synced video, which is like, that's not this year's video, that's from many years ago. Automation Light campaign got 29 cents. Minecraft Launcher 15 cents. How to fix Windows Live Messenger. Why are people still watching that? I thought that service is dead. For 8 cents. And Project Fly, Prepared 3D, 3 cents. Estimated monetizable playbacks was just under 300, down 91% on last year. 3.3 thousand last year. Mostly because for 10 of the months of the year you couldn't do it. Playback based CPM was at $9.23 average over the year, at 16% down on last year, which was $10.95. Because it was probably only those 3 months where it was that, and it's usually low over after Christmas. But yeah, this became a lot longer and a lot more ramblier than I expected it to be. But yeah, my main thing for the channel is to keep it going as it currently is. Look into streaming when I do the recordings. Shall we? yeah, so, because my data resets, because I've used more or less all of it, but like 3 gigs, on the 4th, which is the Friday. I'm going to be recording on the 5th and the 6th, so I might do some streaming then. So if you're watching this, subscribe to my Twitch channel. Not subscribe to it, I mean, you can, but you can't. But yeah, I need to get that set up and redone and stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching this. Say carrot if you manage to get this far in the video. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye. Happy New Year and stuff, I suppose.